This is the Brave Space podcast. My name is Dr. Jordan, and Brave Space is a healing place for gun violence prevention professionals and survivors. Today, I'm joined by Travis Luke. You want to introduce yourself?
My name is Travis Luke. I'm an author, motivational speaker, and I'm also a gang intervention prevention specialist.
Gang intervention and prevention specialist. I like that. So you're actually our first guest that has never attended any one of our Brave Space sessions or anything. So I just want to ask you to start off, like, what does a Brave Space mean to you?
For me, a Brave Space is a space that you go be yourself, a space that you can speak your truth, the space that you can, talk to people about your ideologies, the ways you see things. So when I hear brave, I hear we can get away from the fear. Come speak your truth. Come talk about whatever you need to talk about. So that's why I was excited to hear Brave Space. Seems like a non-judgmental zone to me.
It's definitely non-judgmental. So yes, you can say whatever you want, and at the end, just so you can, already be thinking about it, I do allow whoever I'm interviewing to ask me one question, just to make it like actually a Brave Space.
Yes.
So it's not just me asking you all the questions and then like I'm like, oh, I'm not vulnerable, right? So you get to ask me a question, even though I don't like being vulnerable, but it's a Brave Space, right?
Right.
So I met you. Has it been a week or maybe two?
Maybe 2 weeks.
Okay, maybe 2 weeks at the Whip Attic for the Culture.
Yep.
And Dip introduced us and he was like, oh, this is someone you need to meet. He's doing some great work in the community. So can you just start us off? Like, tell me about your organization. Tell me what work you're doing.
So my organization is OWNers, which stands for Opportunities Naturally Unite Society. So the reason why I called it, named it that, and the reason why my work, what I'm about to say, gonna make sense is because one thing I believe is opportunities and options get rid of hopelessness. If you give somebody some options, you give somebody some opportunities, they no longer feel hopeless. So for my work is I deal with a lot of, either active gang members or gang members that's not active, or gang members that, kids that want to be in the gangs. Those are my primary targets because I try to redirect them away from feeling like, okay, even if you make that decision or you made that decision, that life is over for you. So I do financial literacy. I'm real big on financial literacy because I feel like money only doesn't matter to people that have it. So if you interject some financial literacy into these communities, I can almost guarantee they'll stop making those decisions because, simply put, if mom didn't have to spend so much time worrying about how she gonna pay the bill, she might have spent a little more time on communicating with her child.
That's true.
So she got to work, he or she got to work, mom and dad got to work, then they got to come home and try to be a parent at the same time on top of trying to figure out how to pay the bills. It just doesn't work that way.
And it sounds like that was probably part of your life experience that may have led to you even starting the organization. So opportunities and options. Did I get that right?
That's it.
So you said financial literacy. Like, what are some other like services or programs that you?
So I'm an NCCER specialist.
Okay, what's that?
I teach kids the core of construction.
Okay.
So basically, I'm trying to redirect kids away from feeling like, oh, I got to be a rapper, I got to make TikToks to be able to make 6 figures a year. Because you can make 6 figures a year being a plumber, you can make 6 figures a year being an HVAC tech or being electrician, a project manager. It's these other areas that's not spoke on in the communities that I do most of the work in. So I work with a program called Youth Build. I'm the NCCER instructor there, and I also do a bunch of the mentoring, kind of like I'm the stick there. Let's just say that. I'm the one that come in when they start getting out of hand or they having problem with them vaping or doing something like that.
They bring you in.
They bring me in.
And then what do you do? Like to get them back in line? You connect with them.
I connect. I was not too long ago one of them. I tell people like I've been out of prison 2 years.
Yeah.
August the 18th was 2 years I've been out of prison. So I was just one of them. I was just one of those people that was lost.
Yeah.
That then was impatient. Just wanted everything right then. So I just connect with them. I use open communication. I let them tell me where they wrong at instead of coming in and judge me.
That's
the brave space.
The brave space. Right? I was like, that's good.
Yeah, instead of me just coming in, you're wrong, you shouldn't be doing this. Let's have a conversation. What about you? What about this makes you think this right for you to do?
You're asking questions rather than making statements.
Because I ain't got to tell you you're wrong. You knew it wrong before you did it.
Right.
So that's what I do.
Right. I like that. I also like the point you made about connecting because you have to form a relationship to get people to open up and then also to get people to change, right?
Yep. The worst thing you could do is come in and think that you're just supposed to be respected.
Right.
That's the worst thing you can do. If you're dealing with returning citizens, or if you're dealing with at-risk youth or gang members or whatever you're dealing with, those type of individuals, you come in and you think because, like you introduce yourself, I'm Dr. Such and such and such. If you go right in, are you supposed to respect me because I'm Dr. Such and such and such?
And they don't respect.
They're not going to respect.
They don't.
They don't care.
They don't. They
so
don't care.
They care about. Do you care about them?
Yes.
You can leave the titles. You can leave everything out. But if you show that you could care about them, they'll give you that respect.
Then they'll open up.
All right. So that's what people run into the brick wall. They come straight in because I'm something older. I've been there, done that. You're supposed to respect me. No, I don't. Like that.
Yeah. I guess it's the same even too with like your own lived experiences. Like you can't just come in and be like, well, I've gone through this, and this, so you gotta listen to me. Like I have the blueprint for you. Would that be correct?
That would be correct.
Yeah.
Like, so with me, I title myself, if somebody asks me who I am, I say I'm Travis Luke RLE.
Okay.
It's like you would pronounce yourself, you say I'm PhD or PD. I got real life experiences.
Yeah.
So if I know that I have the real life experiences, but I have someone else that has the PhD or the PD or whatever title behind their name that they went to college to get, I'm gonna respect what they got going. They can respect what I got going. We could come together and come with a solution because I got the experiences. I've been on. When we get to the part about gun violence, I've been on both sides of the violence.
Right.
I've been a victim and a suspect,
right.
so I can speak from both of those sides.
Right.
So it's just being able to stand in that brave space.
That brave space, yeah. We're definitely on the same page because so Dip actually co-leads.
My boy.
Yeah.
My boy.
He's everybody's boy. Everybody likes Dip.
Love Dip.
He actually co-leads the brave space with me. And the whole point of that is it's a clinician VPP model, like violence prevention professional. So when we go in and do a brave space and we're talking to either professionals or survivors, or sometimes both, which you're actually both, right? Like I have something to offer, he has something to offer, and we need like both perspectives in order to be effective.
Yes.
That's why people like it.
Yes.
People don't come just because it's me, right? Or just because it's him. They come because like the work that we do together makes sense.
Vegetable soup isn't good because vegetables in it.
Right.
Vegetable soup good because you put your ground beef or whatever else. It all works together.
It's all together.
The sauce, it's the seasoning.
It's the sauce.
It may be vegetable soup,
right?
But it's a lot of other things that make the vegetable soup good. The vegetable soup can't do it. The vegetable couldn't do it by itself.
Yes. Yeah. I never thought about it like that. I like that though. So you're from Albany?
Albany, Georgia.
Okay, so you grew up in Albany.
Yes,
I think I've only been to Albany maybe once, maybe twice. What was it like for you there growing up?
Like I was locked in a shoebox.
Yeah.
Because it just really wasn't nothing, especially in my community, it really wasn't nothing for me to get into. It wasn't no great examples. It's not no excuse for me taking the route I took, but only people I seen work was my mom and my aunties. Like, the men was taken out of the community, and they was in jail, or if they wasn't in jail, they was selling drugs. So those were the examples that I had. So I really wasn't open to the world. I didn't understand a lot of things. So I misused a lot of knowledge that I gained at a young age because I couldn't see outside of them four corners.
Yeah.
Couldn't see up, couldn't see just whatever was going on in those four corners, that was life for me.
Yeah. And I bet it's hard to see what you're not exposed to because how would you know?
Right.
Right?
Right.
So you said that you grew up impressed by, it sounds like, gang members, drug dealers. Was there one person in particular who really stood out for you and you were like, oh, I want to model my life after them? Or is there anybody that you kind of like that too?
I would have to, I'm going to think hard on that because really wasn't any men around. I was like my grandmother firstborn.
Okay.
Well, my mother firstborn, but my grandmama raised me. But it was like,
so you're the oldest.
Yeah, I didn't really have a lot of male figures around me to watch. Only thing I knew was that I wanted out of poverty. I just wanted better for my people. That's all I did know. And I really wanted. Well, gangs wasn't really prevalent then. Like they had little crews, but it really wasn't like something that we was drawn to it at the time. The drug dealing situation, I got in the game early and accelerated, so it really wasn't nobody for me to be like, oh, I want to, model this guy, that guy. And I think that what kind of separated me from everybody else and allows me to do this work that I do.
Yeah.
Because I kind of stood out to myself. It wasn't like, oh, he came behind this person or he was influenced or this person put him on. It was kind of like I was always in my own lane. But I just knew I just wanted out of poverty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just knew that.
Yeah. No, that's real because like that's a strong motivator. Right?
I grew up in the area they gentrified. Yeah, came in, tore down, rebuilt. That's the area that I lived in. I lived in the worst, poorest part of our town. So yeah, I knew that. If I didn't know nothing else, I wanted out of that. One way or another. And that would lead me to selling the drugs at such a young age. It was like, it was easy.
Was poverty for you, was it more of like hunger? Was it more of homelessness? Like, because I know sometimes like people's experiences of poverty can be different. Like what was the...
For me, it was my mama struggling.
Okay.
So it was just really my grandmother, my mother, and my two aunties. And we all was one of those families. We had to stay close together because at some point in time, somebody gonna get macaroni and cheese from this house. We're gonna have to get some pork chop from over this house. She may have some rice, or she may have the bread.
Right.
They'd be able to make a meal for everybody. So it was just tired of seeing them struggling, tired of seeing what they were going through. And they were all hard-working women. Like, they all worked. My mother, she just lacked the financial literacy that we require. Right. Our community taught raw Peter to pay Paul.
Yeah.
So just watching them struggle, watching them trying, especially with trying to raise me. I'm already too smart for my own good. I'm catching on to everything fast. I'm getting into trouble early. So just watching them struggle with trying to keep me out of trouble, trying to keep me alive, and also trying to put food on the table. So, because it was time that we didn't eat if we didn't go to school.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right,
so,
for sure.
So just imagine we not eating on certain days, we don't go to school, and then all at the same time, I'm getting suspended for school, or I'm suspended for school. So what they left me to do?
Right. You got to figure it out.
I got to figure it out.
On your own. Right.
I got to figure it out. You know what I mean? My mama going to work. Yeah. We really ain't got no food in the house. I'm suspended from school, so.
You need something to do.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you were a leader, like highly motivated, ambitious. And it also sounds like too, you wanted to like help your family, right? How old were you?
How old am I now?
No, how old were you? Like when you decided like it's gonna be me, like I gotta help my family.
Honestly, I caught on at age 9 and I started working at Vic store, and I would work at Vic store for sausages, rice, and bread that we would get out of the stores, one of the little corner stores.
Yeah.
And I would take 9 liters, and I would take sugar and Kool-Aid, right? And I would
Sounds familiar.
I would go sell it at school. So I would sell 9 liters at school, and I would mix sugar and Kool-Aid
in the
together.
bag.
And I would go sell it at school.
Yeah.
So that's when I caught on to the hustle. Then around probably 11 or 12, I just knew then, like, because you could walk right out my door and see 20 or 30 crackheads walking up and down the street. Yeah. So it was easy. All I needed to do was get the drugs.
Right.
That's all I needed to do, and that was easy. I could just steal them. It was everywhere. Everybody, in that area, it was kind of like a little bit. The crack era was kind of ending, but it was still, kind of prevalent. Because I probably thought we talking 96, 97.
Okay.
So
yeah.
it was kind of. It wasn't like the 80s, but it was still crack era. So I just knew then, like, okay, well, I'm just gonna sell crack.
Okay. So it wasn't even like a hard decision. It sounds like.
Oh no.
No, because that's what that's what the environment was. Yeah. So your decisions kind of fell in line with your environment.
And I like what you just said right there, right? Because they're going to get into when we talk about that book. I made a decision. I won't say because I grew up in poverty or because my dad wasn't around or my mom was a single mother, she had to work all the time. That wasn't a reason for me to go sell drugs. I chose that. I chose to do that because I felt like I can go make some money right here. It wasn't because my dad wasn't around. It wasn't none. I made a choice.
You made a choice.
And that's what I try to teach my mentees. Like, no matter your situation, you still got that choice to make. Yeah. Everybody that grew up with me or grew up around me didn't sell drugs. They didn't gang bang. I got one of my best friends when I taught 3rd grade in Dubai, right out of my neighborhood. So I could have made the same decision he made.
Yeah.
And I wrote another book. It's called Don't Be a Hamster on the Wheel Forever. And that's what I became. I became a hamster on the wheel. I would go up and down in a circle, doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different outcome, the definition of insanity. So I made that decision. I can't put that on. I don't like for people to put that on, well, my mama or my daddy did. Yeah. You got that choice. You don't have to.
Listen, I love that you said that because you gave a clear example. Like there was somebody who from your neighborhood went and taught you said 3rd grade in Dubai?
3rd grade in Dubai.
So did you feel like you had that option though?
Of course.
Yeah, you did. Of course.
If my mother were right here, she'll tell you I never made a failing grade.
Wow. So you were smart.
I was always smart. I would get suspended for school and go and it could be on test day and I go in and pass the test.
And just pass it.
I was just angry, which when we come back around to like the gun violence thing, So like I was just angry with the world of certain things that happened to me when I was younger in my current situation, and some traumas and some things that I would just had experienced, had seen. It hindered me from being able to stand on me being an inquisitive person, me being smart. It hindered that because I was just angry. So if you look at me wrong, you step on my shoe. I heard you say you want to fight, or I'm the person. I'm him. I can't wait because I was angry.
What were you most angry about, if you can say?
I would say the most angry I was about was probably be, I won't even say just living in the conditions I was living in. I'm gonna say I'm trying to see how I can explain it.
Yeah.
So it felt like I was caged because I knew I was smart enough to do anything I wanted to do because in the situation that I was in, I always excelled. But it was like I couldn't excel, like I kept running into a brick wall. My attitude, my mama can't pay for me to go. It was those situations. My mama can't come support, so I don't want to go now. You know what I mean? I ain't taking into consideration that, hey, it's just mama. You know what I mean? So when she ain't coming, I don't want to go. I don't want to be a part of this. I don't want to act right. I don't want to make AB on the road. So it was just I felt caged. I always knew I was, respectfully. I always knew if you could teach it to me, I could learn it.
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Whatever that is. I literally taught myself enough psychology while I was in prison to write a psychology book.
Yeah.
Like if you teach it, I could learn it. So I had no reason to be doing the things I was doing.
Which I find, because in my practice, I talk to a lot of young survivors of gun violence. And I hear that a lot, especially with young men, where it's like, I know I have the talent, I know I have the gifts, like I know I'm intelligent, and I'm talking to them. I'm like, I know you're intelligent too. But it's like, it's that frustration of I can't change my circumstances. And then you can start to feel the pressure of time. Like I want to get out of poverty now, or I want to make money now, which can kind of influence your decisions. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, because when you impatient, on top of seeing other people succeed, and they're not in the same situation. So just say like I went to Westover High School, and you would have a mixture of kids. You got us coming over from over here in the hood, then you got these kids that's over here living in the good neighborhood, and we all mixed in together. And like when they're complaining about, we wishing we had no complaints.
Yeah.
So the first time you say something, I'm gonna make your day bad. Like
I'm
gonna make your day bad.
Yeah.
Because if I was in your situation, I promise you, I wouldn't be complaining. That was my thought process.
Yeah.
But I probably would have been complaining because I wouldn't have been aware of what was really going on the other side of the tracks.
So you have a lot of insight.
Yeah.
A lot of wisdom.
Yeah.
So you were around 9 or so when you kind of made the decision it's going to be you, which also makes sense too because you were the oldest son, right? So there's that pressure too. Yep. So lots of pressure, like environment, like your age, who you're around. So how did you actually get into selling drugs?
So I always laugh when I tell this part of the story, but it was some guys that lived in my neighborhood, and I used to go over and clean their dogs' pens and stuff up. I always knew where they would stash the drawers at. So I was that person that used to like basketball, so I always used to dribble the ball up and down the street. I get out the bus or whatever, come from basketball practice, I'm dribbling the ball up and down the street. And I just thought about it. I just watched them and just say, you know what? If they could do it, I could do it. I went and stole their stuff, and I actually went and sold it for the wrong price.
Okay.
When I brought back what I made and took it to the person that I knew, he was like, where you get this from? I'm like, well, I took such and such from such and such. And I went and sold it. And he was like, how did you sell it for that much? And I was like, I went, over there by my school.
Yeah.
I went over by my school. So then that's when he sat me down and told me, okay, well, now you sold it for too much, but if they'll pay for it, sell it for that. So he broke it down to him and told me what everything it was. And I feel like, once again, if you teach me, I can learn it.
Yeah.
And I automatically learned. About 14 or 15, I was cooking my own crack. Like I was already knowing how to get in the kitchen to do what I need to do, but I was still in school though.
Yeah.
When I went in trouble, but I was still in school.
Did you have a preference, like at that time, did you have a preference for I want to make money or I want to stay in school?
Honestly, there's a lot of people that know me probably gonna say that ain't true, but I really wanted to stay in school.
You wanted to stay in school?
I really wanted to stay in school. I tell a lot of people, like, even after I got out of prison, it was one of the times I had went up, they sent me off, brought me back. I ended up going on Darton College. But I ended up getting in some trouble with some more drugs, not at the school, but on the way to school, and it was a whole situation that I ended up going back to prison for. But I always tell people one of my biggest regrets is that I ain't get a chance to attend college.
Yeah.
Like it's like I wanted to be, instead of a game, I wish I would have been a Q dog.
Yeah.
Or a whatever one of them. No, just either one of them.
Any one of them.
Yeah, I wish I would have got a chance to experience that, be able to, be a part of that type of brotherhood, be in that type of environment, climb that ladder instead of climbing the ladder that doesn't have a top.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I would have chose school, I'd have chose college. If I would have been able to stay on that route, that's a ladder that you can dictate, how you go or whatever. But on the other side, choosing the streets, it's like walking up a ladder that you think you're going up, but the ladder the whole time, it's going down, so you really ain't going nowhere.
The reason why I asked you that question is because I think one of the things that a lot of adults, and I'll even say people in like a therapeutic type space, one thing they misjudge is that, okay, I know you chose to be in the streets, and it was also because you didn't have like ambitions towards anything else. And what you just said makes sense. Like you actually wanted a different experience. So tell me more about that. Like, do you still want to go back to school? Is it still part of like something you want to do?
It's funny you say that because we just had a shooting at our college down in Albany, and I was talking to some people about it. And I was like, man, these kids just don't know the opportunities they got. I was like, man, I wish I'd experienced, college, whatever. He was like, why not go? Like, why not go back? And I'm like, you know what, bro? Like, I've been pondering on that for a while, like going back, because I really want to go back for psychology. Just so I can, get into these certain rooms, these certain doors. Sometimes real life experiences ain't enough. So that's what I really was thinking about, going back from psychology. Plus me studying it and playing with it a little bit while I was in prison. It was something I was intrigued by, especially when I got into reading the animal psychology, adolescent psychology, the plant psychologists, all these different type of things that moving within the psychology world. Was like I was really intrigued by it. So that's something I would definitely do. I definitely would.
You definitely should.
It's something on my plate that
I think we should always reach back to whatever we didn't get to do when we were younger. If you still want to do it, like, why not? Right. So you were more so in the streets. You you actually wanted to do well in school, right? Well, you were doing well in school, but you wanted to like go to college. Tell me about like your teenage years. Like, when did things go like the wrong way?
So I think one of the things that you said something earlier about me being a leader. So I think me being a leader was a gift and a curse for me. And I'm gonna say it was a curse for me because I wasn't willing to join what anybody else had going on. We could be cool, I would be around y'all, but I always knew like y'all done had a qualification to tell me what to do. Like, I'm not following y'all. No, it just doesn't make sense for me to follow y'all. No disrespect to none of my people that was used to be trying to get me to be in certain gangs, but I was just like, nah, I can't follow y'all. Y'all ain't gonna be the ones for me. So that led me into, becoming blood. Blood didn't even exist where it existed, but it didn't exist in my area. So me accelerating that lane really kind of put me in a space where if something went wrong, I kind of was blamed for it. So it's a lot of stuff that don't happen in my city that I didn't have nothing indirectly or directly to do with, that I was just blamed for. So
is it because you started?
Yeah, because I didn't start it, but I was like somebody else played in the NBA first, then came Michael Jordan. I was Michael Jordan.
Okay.
So if that make any sense, like I was Michael Jordan in the league. So the gift side of it is, it's hard to find somebody that reached the pinnacle that I did when it come to games. It's hard to find somebody that have been through the things that I've been through, that's went and learned what I learned, wrote the material that I wrote. It's hard to find those people. So that was the gift side of it. Like, okay, I could speak to you from the game situation, not only from somebody that was involved in it, but somebody that was, had high rank in it, that was, I won't speak on the rank part, but somebody that had high rank in it. Like, it's hard to find somebody like me that decided to reach back. Most of us, when we get out, we out, we gone. You know what I mean? Because it's the fear of, what the government do. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, at any given time, I could be pulled into any type of situation if they feel like it. So most of us that make it out, we get away.
Right.
You know what I mean? I kind of, still deal with whoever I deal with to try to help them get away from that life or get away from just the violence in general. I don't try to deter people away from being in gangs. I just try to deter them away from the gang violence. That's my primary thing that I do with some of my work. But that was the gift side of it is it gave me some respect from the streets.
Right.
The curse side of it was it painted a picture of me that I really wasn't never that bad of a person. No, even if somebody that know me, they'll tell you the person that know me right now is the person I was back then.
Yeah.
Like it's not the change. Only thing changed about it is I got away from the negativity. I don't sell drugs. I don't commit violence. I don't be out acting up. Like I don't do none of that. I still hang out I go in the hood. I go to the club. I do everything that everybody else do. You know what I mean? But I just don't. I don't, involve myself in the negativity stuff. So that's the only difference between who I was then and who I was now. I've always given back. I was giving back book bags and school supplies when I was 16, 17 years old.
Yeah.
I was paying people bills in my community. Man, people that I know might pass. We don't got no insurance in our community.
Right.
So we ain't got to sell no fish. I'm going to pay for the funeral.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I've always done right. I always told everybody to go to school. Even when, even after I got kicked out of school, I actually went and got on GED. Yeah. And then, that's when I tried to embark on going to college or whatever. But I've always been an advocate for education. I always been an advocate. Go to school. Listen to your mama. Like people think I'm playing when I say this, but I can literally call the mother right now. I've used to have mothers to bring me their child. Like, get him, I can't do nothing with it. Now, mind you, I'm the gang leader. But people that knew me from my community knew I wasn't I wasn't no messed up person.
Yeah, they knew your character.
I wasn't a messed up person. But the society as a whole painted me as a monster, and I never was a monster.
I think too, like what you're describing is how all of these systems keep families, especially Black families, like in poverty, right? They don't fund our schools.
Nope.
Right? They don't put healthy grocery stores nearby. It's hard to get transportation. And then there's this expectation that you somehow figure out how to like live the best, most productive life. And what you're saying is you have character, right? Like you were taking care of people in the community in spite of like, the violence, negativity, and even some of the things you were doing, right? But you like at your core, you had character. You were intelligent. You had dreams of going to school. You were a leader, gift and a curse, right? So you're insightful, right? So you had all of these good ingredients, right? Going back to the vegetable soup, you had all of the ingredients, but I think we have to make it clear too the environment that you were in that can change the outcomes too,
it does.
Right?
It does.
So at some point you went to prison. Tell me about that. How did that happen?
Okay, so it's just like when I started going to jail, I ain't stopped.
Yeah.
I tell you, I've been on the same probation that I'm on now since I was 17 years old.
Okay.
And I've been in and out of prison in between that time.
Okay.
So first I went to state prison. Well, I went to the detention center thing. They sent me off. I came back and I ended up going to state prison. State prison was gladiator school. I ain't learned nothing. I honestly, literally, and it's the stupidest thing I ever thought I could ever say out of my mouth. I remember being in state prison telling people, it's going to take the feds to come get me this time. Because I was in there trying to figure out how I could sell more drugs.
Yeah.
But that played into the rehabilitation. It wasn't nothing in there for me to learn.
Yeah.
It wasn't nobody. We were just caged in there. We were just in there. You know what I mean? So what else for me to do than figure out how I could be better at what I know how to do? So then that's what I did. I sat and I figured it out. And I got out of prison in 2010. In the 12, the federal government was knocking on my door. And that's who they really got. I spoke it. That's who they brought.
Yeah.
But I ended up going to federal prison. Federal prison was one of my greatest blessings. I got a lot. I did a decade, but I could say if God would have gave me 2 years less, I probably would have came home the same person or worse. He gave me exactly how much time I needed to be able to get myself together, and it was so perfect because at the end of my federal prison bed, I ran the RDAP program. It's a behavior it's a drug program, but it's basically a behavior modification program.
Okay.
They talk about it's for drugs, but really it teaches you about your attitudes
Yeah.
and being able to think. But I taught it. I ran the I had an office, so it was like it was prepping me to come home and do what I was doing, because that's when I realized that I could do what I do. Because if I could, I won't say control, but let's just say if I can get a room full of people with different background, different ethnicities, different religious background, different economic background, that listen to one message. I get everybody to listen to one message and get what they need to get from that message. I knew then that, okay, it might be something to this. I might need to take this home with me.
Yeah, and like do it when you leave.
Yeah, this might be something for me. But I started out over in Talladega, Alabama at a medium high. That was. If I'm glad God got me out of there. Because I definitely would have sold drugs again if I'd stayed there.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't that. It was, that's why I became NCCR certified. But the caliber of people that was at that prison was violent and drug offenders. So it wasn't nobody for me to get around to learn. I need to learn.
Okay.
And anybody, once my people that know me from prison see this, they gonna be like, man, they think he lied, but he telling the truth. I was finna, my security level dropped, and I was finna get shipped. And I didn't want to get shipped for two reasons. I don't want to get shipped because the lower your security drop, the disrespect for the inmates and the staff get.
Okay.
In those higher security prisons, everybody kind of handle everybody with a level of respect, because I don't know how much time you got. I don't know what you done did. You might have killed. I was in there with preacher from the murder team in New York. He had like 85 murders. I didn't even know this.
Yeah.
So you carry yourself differently, and people carry you differently. So it's a lot of respect in this. I like, man. I don't want my security level drop. So I was trying to get in trouble. I was trying to get rolled up, but God had another plan. Then when I found out the prison I was going to, I was like, man, there's no way they finna send me to this prison.
This is when you came from Alabama?
Yeah, I was in Alabama, and then I was finna get shipped. And I couldn't get. They wouldn't let me stay.
Okay.
So I kept getting in trouble. Kept trying to figure out stuff that I could do to not to get shipped, because I didn't want to get shipped, especially not to the prison they were sending me to. And that prison was the turning point for me.
Which one?
Then the second prison I went to was Coleman, Florida.
Okay.
That was a humbling space for me. It was I learned so much. I met so many people. That was like college. It's like I learned so much. Like when I tell you, I learned a lot. Everything from financial literacy stuff to how to build houses. Like I learned a lot at Coleman. But I didn't want to go to Coleman because it's one of those spots. Let's just say Jared from Subway was there.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't do too good around them type of people. I don't.
For sure.
So I didn't want to go there.
For sure.
And they ended up making me go there, and I ain't stay long. I stayed about a year, I want to say. I stayed about probably a year and a half, and then I got shipped over to Edgefield. And Edgefield is where I got into the teaching the drug program and all that stuff. But my federal prison bed changed my life.
Yeah.
Like, I used to hate everybody that I thought told on me, that turned their back on me. I tell all my mentees and kids I talk to, like, for me to be the person that I was, nobody sent me money. Nobody. I went years without getting mail. Like it would be funny. It would be like, "Hey, Southwest man, you got mail?" And I'd be like, "Bro, that's just phone donkey." Cause phone donkey was sending these little cards out. You try to tell your people to get these certain numbers so the calls will be cheaper. Yeah. I'm like, bro, I ain't got no mail. Like I literally went years and years and years with like no mail, no visits. I would get visits here and there, and that was humbling.
Was that hard?
It was healing too. You know what I mean? Because
tell me how, right? Because
humbling,
like humbling and healing.
Okay.
Because if you're not getting visits and you're not getting mail, like I'm sure that does something to you emotionally.
It angered me at first, but then it humbled me because I had to realize that life goes on, and I also had to realize that. And you're not the pinnacle, like you're not the person that can save everybody. Like the people really don't need you. Like you think everybody needs you, the people really don't need you. Like if they needed you, they'll be falling apart. Or they actually thriving, they actually doing better. So really, you were really crippling them people. So it was humbling for me because I thought I thought everybody loved me. I thought everybody respected me. I thought everybody was my friend. Like I was one of them. Like if I walk somewhere and there's 100 people now, 95 of them gonna shake my hand.
Yeah.
So it was like I thought I was somebody. You know what I mean? Like I thought I was the man. But when I got that time, it showed me like, nah, you ain't that. And I'll be honest, like when I was in prison, it took me a while to realize that I wasn't a man in prison. because the person I was on the street, I was able to carry that into the prison because the rank follows you. So when you get to the prison, they already know you coming before you get there. So they already know, oh, you such, you such. So yeah, okay, you gonna run the yard. You know what I mean? We're gonna go over here, you're gonna talk to who will run it before you, you know what I mean? Or whatever the case may be. We might, it work out all kinds of ways.
Yeah.
Or people just draw to me anyway.
Yeah.
So that would humble me.
Yeah.
Where it healed me at is I ain't had to deal with nobody else BS. I just had to deal with mine.
Oof.
So now
talk about that, because did that like bring up a lot of like what did that bring up for you? So it brought up that I realized that I was the problem in a lot of situations. It made me realize how I would be so nonchalant. My mama always used to tell me, you don't care about nothing. Like what you mean? You know what I mean? But it really showed me that when I sat back in prison, I sat in them cells, because a lot of time I ain't had no cellmate. But I sat back and I realized like I really was the problem in a lot of my situations. You know what I mean? I enabled people. I broke a lot of people, so me being in and being away from everybody, God actually taking my life and just treating it like a piggy bank and just shaking it, and everything that didn't belong in there, he shook out of there. You know what I mean? When I say we would get 300 minutes a month. I could promise you all 300 went on to my kids. It was if I called somebody else, it because one of my kids needed something and I needed them to go handle it. Other than that, how many children do you have?
I got 6.
You got 6 kids. When you were in prison at that time, did you feel like you were able to like better your relationship with your kids, like as part of that healing process, or did you become more distant?
Well, I won't say make it better, because this would be hard for some people to believe, but you have to see my kids to believe it. Like, the relationship with me and my kids have been solid since day one. And now their mother, I would contribute a lot of that to their mothers. Because even when I was in prison, if they did something wrong, they gonna tell me. If I call home, let me talk to your dad. Hey, he did or she did, you know what I mean? So they never took that father authoritarian role away from me. So that kept us connected. Also, I think with me with this, my whole journey, like I really only have one son out of all of my kids that give everybody a little trouble. And I don't have to, he is he gonna watch this probably 1,000 times. He's interested in my transition because he's heard all these stories about his daddy. My daddy this, my daddy that. So now, okay, in prison the whole time I'm like, hey man, I ain't coming home to that, bro. Like, I ain't selling no dope. I don't care about no game. That over with. Yeah, Pop, whatever, you making all that money, daddy. They call me dad. You making that money? I heard about you. They know you up here. I don't care what they know me, and I'm telling you now, I ain't coming home to that life. And he actually told me, like, Pop, I've been watching you. Like, you standing on what you said you were going to do. Yeah. So that made our relationship stronger. But I went through some stuff with some of my daughters. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, my daughter, one of my babies literally told me, like, I broke her heart before anybody else could broke it. She gave me the specific time, like I was in 2nd grade. And you know what I mean? Yeah. And that was just like, all of those things made me a better man.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to say father. It just made me a better man because I stopped believing that I had this, growing, we would say, oh, I sell dope because I want to take care of my kid. That's got to be the dumbest thing you could say. Like, you selling drugs, you doing something that's going to take you away from your kids.
Yeah.
So the money don't even matter.
Yeah.
The kids want you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The money don't even matter. So that healing process with them was me understanding that it's not all about placing them first. It's more about making sure that I'm in position mentally, physically, and emotionally to be able to be whatever they need me to be water. Whatever they need their dad to conform to, that's what I needed to be.
I think that's such a good point too, because essentially what you're saying is you had to figure out who you were as a man before you could then figure out who you were as a father. And, when you're young and you have kids, you don't even think that, like, that's not even really part of how you think, right? You just kind of live in life. Yep. But you said something earlier. You basically said the Lord turned you over like a piggy bank, shook you, things came out. Go a little bit deeper. Like, what was that? Like, did it feel like it was, like, emotionally, how was it? Was it hard?
Oh, it was draining.
Was it draining?
In what way? I tell my mentee, like, y'all see them boys on in prison on the internet with them phones and the pizzas. And I'm like, hey, when that light go off and they got to lay down in that bed and it's quiet time, that's when them questions start coming. That's when them something you start worrying. So yeah, that was.
What were some of the biggest questions that came up for you?
I'm gonna see. Probably why I didn't start selling drugs. Okay. Because I had enough money to do. Like I had a clothing store, like I had a record label. Why I didn't stop? Why did I keep selling drugs? Yeah. Other question was be like why I ain't do better by my kids. Cause even with me, I was very active in their life. Anything they could ever ask for, they wanted it. Like I got it. They ain't want for nothing. Anybody that know me, they always say my kids always live like their daddy with T.I. Like they always had whatever they wanted. Limo for your birthday, all right, it done. Whatever they wanted. But I realized that I wasn't being a good father. Because even though I was providing those things, I was setting a bad example. They were watching me. That everything I did, my son Cameron, when his mama would drop him off in the neighborhood, first thing he gonna do is take his shirt off. Cause this how I used to be in the hood. He gonna take his shirt off. He gonna sag his little pants. He got on the pamper. You know what I mean? Like I ain't really paying no attention at the time. I'm just looking like, man, look at that man. You know what I mean? But I ain't realizing like
that he's modeling.
He's modeling me.
He's modeling what you're doing. He's modeling
me, man. And so that was some question I asked. Then a lot of it was how I got abandoned. So that the abandonment part is something that probably the only thing I still wrestle with now. Because that abandonment put me in a mental headspace where, hey, ain't nobody got to talk to me and I'll be all right.
Abandonment from who?
From everybody. Like everybody that I thought was for me. You know what I mean? Like everybody that kind of evaporated, which out of sight, out of mind is a true thing. Like, out of sight, then I'm not one of those. I'm not one of those people that gonna keep calling her. I need $20. Somebody send me $50. I'm not. I just wasn't one of those people. So it was easy to forget that hey, he in there. You know what I mean? And that was even humbling. That because how could you forget? You know what I mean? How y'all forget that I'm in here? You feel me? So it was like all of those things I dealt with at night that would really drove me to be the person I am now because I'm not gonna put myself in that situation again.
So you mentioned that you grew up with your mom, grandma, aunties. And 2 aunties. Where was your dad?
Nobody. Daddy wasn't around.
Yeah.
Nobody. And my daddy, I'm a little light on him now. Like I'm coming around a little bit because he keep trying. So it's like I see. You know what I mean? But two, I tell him he got to understand too that I got to reconstruct my mentality and my mind frame to even want to acknowledge you because I haven't had to acknowledge you for 40 years. You know, most of my life you've been in prison or, you lived in Savannah. We never really been around. And something else that was humbling, I remember when he got out of prison, I had just got out of the halfway house, I believe, and we went to his job. He was working at Chili's, and he asked my sister who I was. I was like, damn.
Yeah.
Like that, you know what I mean?
That sounds like it hurt.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
It did, but I also looked at it like that could have been me and my kids. Cause I could have got way more time than I got. Like, yeah, I did a decade, but I was able to still be a part of their life through the wall, through the phones, or you know what I mean? So it was kind of like a little better than him. He did his whole time in the state prison and, everything just got detached. With me, it was a blessing for me to be able to call my kids for mother. Cause sometimes how that go, like he in jail, he ain't calling this for. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I was able to still be a part of my kid life. And I was just like, hey boy, start complaining because that could have been you asking who your child was. The way you was living, you know what I mean? The charge that I don't beat, the allegation that I don't beat, it could have easily been me and my son instead of me and my daddy.
Do you feel like you're able to see him more as like a man, even like apart from who he is as like your dad, like kind of how you were saying about your own kids, or is that still hard?
So his current situation right now is making me want to be around him a little more. You know what I mean? Like I'm seeing like, okay, him as a man a little more, meaning that his back to the wall and he ain't thought about breaking law.
Right.
So cause now if he'd broke law, then yeah, it'd have been over with for him. You know what I mean? But him, cause he who I was in my time, that who he was in Savannah. So I know it's hard when you used to having your way or you used to having a certain type of money and being able to do what you want to do, then come to a point where Now you part of society, regular society. Like it get hard over here.
Yeah.
Like what they say, life get lifing over here. So the fact that he searching for jobs and he ain't doing a whole bunch of complaining and crying. And he just like he called me Bubba, like Bubba, want you do So it making me want to incorporate him more in my life. Yeah. Like, no beef there, like, that my dog, but it's just like my life already structured, and it been structured this way for a long time. So, like, I don't know where to put you at right now.
It's hard. It's hard.
You know what I mean?
It's hard. I want to go back to something you said earlier, too. You said you asked yourself the question, like, why didn't I just stop selling drugs? And I'm just wondering, like, did that have anything to do with the first reason you started to sell drugs, which was poverty? Like, do you feel like you kept selling maybe because there was a fear of, like, I might fall back into poverty? Do you think that was part of it?
I'm gonna give you something, right? I want you to take this with you. Selling drugs is an addiction.
Okay.
The same way somebody that uses drugs is addicted to using it. Most people that have sold drugs, especially from a young age, they're addicted to it.
Is it the addiction of money, or did you use as well?
It's just weed. It's just the thrill of just selling drugs. It becomes addicted. That because you think about what drugs do for you. It's endorphin and give your brain a boost. Right. It's the same thing as making that drug deal and counting that money. Like it's really an addiction. Like, even with me now, like, I sell cars, and I catch myself selling cars the same way I sold drugs. And I had to really just sit back and say, hey, whoa, you hustling. You're not using your financial literacy. Like your credit score, your business credit score will be. It should be at the top. Like, you know what to do. Why is you hustling? Only thing I'm thinking about is turning 1 into 2, 2 into 3. Yeah. I'm just like, it really not that hard over here. If you got the financial literacy and you got your stuff side up the right, it'll turn 1 into a 2 on its own.
Yeah. So, yeah, you're right.
So it's just me getting caught up in the hustle, and I just know that I'm replacing my addiction to drugs now to selling cars, because I don't want to sell cars. I don't care about selling cars. The car dealership is a way to pay my bills and support my lifestyle. My true passion is mentoring every youth, mentoring returning citizens, my non-profit program, my writings, my speakings, my podcast. I got all the podcast equipment. I ain't did one episode. Yeah. So those are my passion. That is what I worked on most of the time I was in prison. So it's kind of like, okay, I might have came home and didn't sell drugs, but I'm selling cars.
That's some high level self-awareness. Yeah. To be able to say, okay, it's not drugs this time, but like with the cars, like that could get real slippery too.
Yeah. It's slippery now. I literally have to pray to stop thinking about it. Yeah. If I'm on my phone 9 to 10, I'm looking at the auction list. Like, so in that time, what am I even looking at the auction list for? I should be over here prepping. I probably got, off the top of my head, 20, 25 books written already that all that needed to be published. And I've only published 1 book. Like, and that was just a situation when I was just like, you know what, man, let me just publish a book. Because I got all these books. I have all these movie strips. I got short films. I got full-length films. I got TV series. I got sitcoms. Because all I did, my last 7 or 8 years in prison, was read and write. Yeah. Read and write. I had one of my one of my white friends, he said, I'm going to tell you something. He said, you probably don't heard it, but you never heard it from a white man. He said, you might get mad at him. He said, but don't beat me up, so I will. I said, man, what? Man, tell me what you finna say. He said, if you want to hide it from a black man, put it in the book. I said, and if he was standing right now, his name Ray. He live in Augusta. I said, Ray, I'm going to write a book.
Yeah.
Cause what you just said.
Yeah. Right.
Who you talking to? Right. And that was my dog. He helped me increase my vocabulary. We used to play a game. He give me a word. I gotta go learn the word, and then the last letter of the word he gave me, I have to come back with a word. So he helped me increase my vocabulary. He would read my books, and Ray read a lot of books in prison. A lot of books. Yeah. And that was just like, okay, I'm gonna write a book.
And you did. It's right there.
And that's just the one. I'm telling you, I just told my brother this morning, and I'm gonna do it next year. I'm probably gonna, if the time for me, I guarantee I'm at least publish 6 books. They already written. Yeah. They just need to be printed. Like, yes. They're right there.
For sure.
So yeah, I'm definitely gonna do that. But that's my primary. So like that's why I say it's an addiction. Because I'm I'm selling cars the same way that I sold the drugs. So like I want to get away from that.
Yeah.
I want to get back. That's why I'm sitting on this couch like that. I want to get back to what I'm supposed to be doing. I know God gave me a story, and I've learned how to tell it. So why not tell it?
Yeah. Which is part of like your purpose, right? Like that's what your organization is. You've been out for 2 years, but you're already like working in your purpose. And you've mentioned God a lot. Like, what does your faith like have to do with all of your life experiences?
Discipline.
Yeah.
Discipline. That was it. So I would always tell people, me and God always had a love-hate relationship, meaning that I'm gonna do whatever I want to do. He gonna punish me, and then I'm still gonna do whatever I want to do again. And I'm gonna tell him I'm gonna do whatever I want to do again. Like it is what it is. Like we just always had that love-hate relationship, and the whole time he would just mold me to be able to be right here. You know how many times people tell me, "Man, I can't believe you doing this." Like. I'm like, I can't believe I'm doing it either. You think I woke up one day and said, this is what I wanted to do? No. God molded me for this and picked me up and said, sat me right here and told me, if you don't do that, then you know what outcome is. And I ain't talking about death. I just been punished so many times. Like, I know if I don't do what I'm doing, I know what the punishment, I know what the outcome gonna be.
Yeah.
I can't do nothing else. Like, I have to do this.
Yeah. And I mean, your work is so needed in this space, right? So part of the reason even why I do the Brave space is because, number one, gun violence is an issue.
Yeah.
Like it's a big issue. Number two, it's the number one cause of death for children, right? 1 to 17 for like a few years now, right? So that's a problem. And I don't think it's enough to just say, let's come up with like more programs, right? We, like you mentioned earlier, it's not just the programs, it's the people in the program, right? It's how young people can connect with someone like a Travis Luke or a Dip or, anyone else who's doing the work.
Right.
So one question I have just about gun violence in general, like how has gun violence impacted you, your family? How has it impacted you?
So I've been on both sides of the gun numerous times. I've been shot and I've been on the other side of the gun. They both had the same feeling. They both got the same feeling. It's a feeling of loss. It's a feeling of I don't know what the outcome gonna be. It's a feeling of anxiety. It's a feeling of it's a euphoria, make you feel good. All of those things. But that not knowing the outcome is real. Definitely. Like when I've been on the other side and I've shot, it's just like, oh, whoa, wait, hey. This couldn't even that wasn't even that serious for what if it happened. Like if that go all the way where it could go, it wasn't even that serious. So now I got to ponder on, oh man, this should have happened. Then on the other side, being shot is like, am I gonna die? You know what I mean? But with me, the last time that I was in, incident getting shot, it was, and this one I knew that mentally, I just was going through life. I remember when I got shot, I was looking at my fingers and I was just like, I was asking the dude in the car with me, I was like, hey bro, you think they gonna be able to put these back together? And it was just like so crazy for me to be thinking about that, and I had them being hit like I'm sitting here just so calm in the back seat, like, hey bro, you think, like I'm literally looking at my finger, they looking like somebody done put firecrackers in them. I'm just looking at them like, I ain't panicking on that. It's just, bro, you think they gonna be able to put my finger back together?
Yeah.
And I never forget it. He was just looking at me like, bro, that's what you thinking about? But I had them been involved in so much violence, so much of my life. It was like I'm on autopilot for it.
Yeah, for sure.
So it just, I don't know. With me, my outtake on the gun violence situation, you have to split gun and violence apart. To get to the root causes, to get to an answer to be able to stop it, you got to split them apart. If you split gun violence apart and you focus on guns on one end and violence on the one end, we can get a solution. Because
tell me why.
Guns don't commit the violence. So if we figure out what's causing whatever situation it is for that person to commit violence, then we can get rid of gun violence as a whole. I deal with the youth on a regular basis. Don't none of them people wake up every day and just say they want to go kill somebody.
Right.
Like they're emotional. They don't understand how to control their emotions.
Right.
I do a drill with some of my students, and for the last 30 minutes of class, mostly every day, I tell them to write a feeling on the board. I don't be political correct. They write all kind of stuff, pissed, and they write all kinds of but I let them explain to me what they mean. I don't even get into the specifics or the correct terminology for the emotions. Write what you're feeling of
whatever
them.
it is.
And most of the you gonna think I'm playing, but I promise you, every time we've done that drill, I may have had out of all those times, I might have had one positive emotion. Happy.
Wow.
Everybody else was, they would write stuff like deadbeat baby daddy, you know what I mean? They would just write whatever you want to write up there, but just write your feeling. And it's most of they just in a downward spiral. And we're not catering to that. We're leaning on, they don't got nothing to do. They don't need nothing to do. They need some people to be a part of their lives to help them with their understand communication. They need some people part of their lives to help them identify their emotions, what your body go through when you feel to get mad.
Right.
So if you got a gun, you can have 100 guns. But if you're aware of, hey, I'm getting upset, I'm starting to sweat.
Right.
Then you could hold on. Like with me, I know when I'm getting mad, when I get upset, I get quiet. I start biting the inside of my jaw. So now when I get to there, before I even commit any type of action, I hold, hey.
It's a pause.
That's it.
It's a pause.
That's it.
And people, I love that too, because people, and maybe it's starting to be talked about more, but like how your body responds is like the first, it's the first indicator. It's the first signal. Like, I need to pause right here. Right. Because however I feel, like the next thing is going to be the next thing. So I love that you pointed that out, and you know what it is for you, because it's not biting your jaw, or your cheek for everyone. It could be something else. It could be sweat. Yeah, it could be sweating. It could be a headache. It could be anything.
It could be one of my students say when he get mad, he can't breathe.
Yeah.
Like it's you go through all kinds of different things. So once you learn it, you can correct it. So then once I can get you to identify that, now I can ask you what your desired consequences is. What you want to get out of this.
Yeah.
What you want to get out of this. So if I'm getting into get into a confrontation, before I even engage into that person, my goal is to ask myself, what do I expect to get out of this situation? Because it ain't to die. It ain't to go to jail. It ain't to go to the hospital. So if those are not my desired consequences, I'm not going to allow my beliefs or my emotions or the people around to make me act on it and get some consequences I don't want.
Which is so good, because you're right. No one says that I want those outcomes, right? No one says, and no one would say that. No one would say that. No one would say they want to be shot. No one would say they want to lose someone, right? No one would say that.
They don't want to go to the hospital. You know how long you got to sit in the hospital? They want to go to the hospital for a cold.
They
so you
don't.
think they want to go to the hospital for get shot or stabbed or beat? They don't want to go for a cold, especially black men.
They don't.
They don't want to go to the hospital for nothing.
Right.
So it just, but when
getting them to that place of where they can see how those things are connected, like how their anger, and if they have a gun, and like how they're motivated or how they're moving, like getting them to see the whole picture. I think is, and I'm still, again, why I have these conversations is I'm really trying to understand, like, for someone like you, like, what was the moment where it's like, I don't want to die. I don't want to kill someone else. Like, maybe you can't pinpoint it exactly.
I'm gonna tell you, with me, and it probably with most of the people, we commit violence because we don't want to die. So I'm gonna just say this: I was a target because of the reputation I had in my city, not just dealing with the gang, just in general. I was a target. So the smaller thing, I would always tell people, like, you slap me one time, don't mean I'm gonna slap you back one time. It might mean that I'm gonna slap you every time I see you for the next 6 months. Yeah. But I used to act that way as a defense mechanism. So I want everybody to think twice before they come bother with me.
Right.
Somebody would shoot up my mama's house, you know what I mean? And my mama called, somebody shot her house up. And sometimes I didn't even know who did it, so I just would go at everybody. So now they looking at me like, this man crazy. Now in reality, bro, just try to stop y'all from shooting my mama's house. Yeah. So if y'all see I'm willing to go to war with the whole city by the incident, then maybe it won't happen again. It didn't stop happening, but it still would do it. But but it's just like, it was a defense mechanism. So I wouldn't turn down no fights. I would fight people I know I couldn't beat. But if you say you want to fight me, like, I'm gonna fight you. I don't care if you bigger, because I want people to know that he gonna fight.
Yeah.
Like, such and such and such might have beat him up, but he fought. Like,
it's survival.
It's survival. So when you in these environments, and that's what the environments is based off of, you kind of have the mind frame of, I can't let that slide, because what the person might do to me next. On top of, just think about if you got childhood traumas, or you got abandonment issues, or you got mental health issues, or you dealing with you haven't ate today, or whatever. Mama the lights might be out at the house, or you dealing with all of that on top of, hey, I can't let you play with me. I cannot let you play.
It's like
with
you're
me.
getting it from every
angle.
Yeah,
you ain't gonna play.
And you're
with
young.
Me too.
Yeah.
So that's what it was for me. I committed violence because I didn't want violence committed against me.
Right. And because you had seen it so much, like, you knew that could be a part of your experience.
Easy.
Yeah.
Easy. So that's very, like, in the movie, because you think about it, you could separate guns, separate violence. Tend to the violence you could teach about guns.
Yeah.
But long as you put them together first, as soon as you hear gun violence, it's negative connotation. You get judgmental automatically. We start stereotyping. We start doing all the things that does not contribute to stop.
Because you're not thinking about the person. Like, and I really feel like, too, even just politically, we have this obsession with objects more than we do people.
Of course.
Because a gun is just an object. Like, if you put it on the table, it won't move. No. Like, it won't go off. It won't do anything.
If you take the fire pin out of it, it ain't gonna work.
Right. Like, you dismantle it, whatever you do, it's not gonna work. So we're so hyper focused and obsessed with an object. And meanwhile, the people, it's just like, oh, like, don't worry about that. It's like the people is the one that's gonna pick up the gun because they don't wanna get killed. Like, they don't want violence to happen to them. So they're gonna pick that object up and make something happen with it.
Let me ask you a question. Do people die in prison?
Do they die in prison? Yes, people die.
I'm gonna say we're right. Do people get killed in prison?
Yes.
Guns in there? You see? So
well, technically, yes. One
time that happened one time.
Technically, that
happened one time.
Technically, yes.
Yeah, that was an isolated incident. That probably never happened.
Listen, this is Atlanta. Like, things. Things happen. Yeah. So, but no, to your point.
Yeah, but so if
it's still the person, and though people will use whatever tool, they need,
because it's survival.
It's survival.
No people, unless you extremely dealing with some extreme mental health issues, you don't wake up the next day and just go out and kill.
Right.
So you get in that because it's survival. It's instant, and a lot of people don't intend to kill.
Right.
Like, they just shoot the gun. They not intending to kill, because how many is 90% of what I've seen is not headshots.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it's just somebody just shooting in their direction. It's not. They're shooting and running.
Right.
If I'm intending on killing you, on shooting you, on coming over and standing over you, shoot you some more. For the most part, they shooting blindly. They shooting and they run. They not intending to kill.
Because people, I mean, to your point earlier about how it feels the same on both sides of the gun, a lot of times we are focused on survivors, but we're also missing over the fact that the person holding the gun has a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety. They're very nervous, right? They're worried about, you know what I mean? Like you mentioned, those childhood traumas start coming up, and it's like in a split second you have to make a decision whether or not you think it's the right decision. You're not like at that point, you're just doing whatever you got to do.
And I'm gonna tell you what's so important about the work you do. So, intervention, prevention. Those are my two favorite words.
Yeah.
Because if you shoot me, right, if I don't die, the next thing that I'm going to say is I'm not allowing that to happen
again. Yes.
So now that the action has changed my whole mindset, my whole ideology, the whole way I look at people. So just say, I may get into an argument with somebody, and they may just show that type of level of aggression, and I think that they feel to shoot me. Or
because why wouldn't you think that?
You see, so the reason, and I will get people argue with me about this forever. The reason why gun violence and all these other violence acts are growing, and because we continue to look at these people as their victims.
Yes. Yeah.
They're not. They turn to future suspects.
Yeah.
Because now they dealing with PTSD. I don't know why it's so hard for society to believe,
understand that.
Like, okay, if somebody goes to the military and they experience death, they come back. Oh, they got PTSD. I can't get diagnosed with PTSD, and I've been getting shot at since I was 14 years old.
Right.
I can't get
also
diagnosed
because you're a black man.
Also because I'm a black man, I can't get diagnosed with PTSD.
You
so
don't have that. Yeah.
What's the difference between somebody that I break into your house or I kick in your door or, I do some violent acts, punch your husband in the face, whatever the case may be? Who's to say that you're not going to be, you hear the end of slight little Noah. You jumping about your sleep. Baby, when that, I thought I heard the door open. Now you trigger. So now you on edge. Somebody may say something, do something, you just go all the way off, and then you asking yourself, like, how I even get that far? How I got that mad?
Right. Well, they dress it up, right? Like, I'm going to put you in a uniform, I'm going to train you, or I'm going to give you a license to kill. And that's different than I'm going to keep you in this impoverished neighborhood, take away all your resources, and expect you to just figure it out. So I'm going to suit you up.
Suit you up?
Yeah. It's, for whatever reason, it's seen as different. It's like, it's really actually not.
It's
not. And I'm to your point too, even just about like people who do survive, like people who survive firearm injuries, there's nothing that your mind won't tell you to do to protect yourself the next time. Like your whole thought processes change.
Yep.
Right. And you can't get mad at someone for that. Like how could you, if you almost lost your life, right? Like how can you then, judge someone and say, oh, well,
okay,
like you don't deserve to defend yourself. I think the issue is that, to your point earlier, we're not actually addressing the root cause. We're not addressing the people.
That's it.
Right.
That's the problem.
We're focused on the object.
That's the problem. Like I remember we had a shooting right around the corner from one of our high schools, right? It was Westover High School. We just had another little similar shooting in Monroe High School, but I actually work in Monroe High School now with the ninth graders. But I kept asking the question, why haven't a team of psychologists or therapists went to that school? I still haven't. I don't understand why not? Because, so me being a person that I said been on both sides of the gun, right? Me seeing somebody that my age that looked like me go to the same school I go to, get shot. Why can't that not happen to me? So that can happen to me too. So let me go get me a book bag, a gun, and a ski man. I really don't want to kill nobody, and I really don't. But hey, he went to school with me. He got killed or he got shot.
Yeah.
I don't want to get killed. I don't want to get shot. Now he got this gun, and he ain't even built for it. He shouldn't even have it. Now the first look,
not even practicing with it, just like carrying it. Yeah,
he shoot blind, and now we got 7 or 8 people shot.
Right.
That had nothing to even do with what he was feeling. Right. On top of everything we just laid out.
Right. Right.
So I don't understand why we don't have the therapists that go into them situations. I still don't. And there was a question that I asked some of the other city leaders, like, y'all don't think that y'all need to hold school for a second and get them to at least give them the option to talk to a therapist?
Even when they do, like, you have to think, if you're just coming in and you never talk to anyone, like you've never talked to a shooter, you never talked to a survival, you don't know what to say.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you can't even begin to speak in a way that would be meaningful, And even just like given the situation in Winder, right? You know how many new incidents of people people in school bringing guns in their book bag, because now they're like, oh, Winder just happened. Not even just here in Georgia, but also in North Carolina, right? Like where I'm from. So it's like it's a domino effect. And it's like, when parents are calling like, oh, my kid has anxiety and they don't want to go back to school. I'm like, that makes sense.
Duh.
I agree. Like I can't even
this
give
don't
you
even supposed to happen here.
I can't even give you a recommendation because listen, like it makes sense. It's not. It makes sense.
Hey, this happens somewhere that it doesn't supposed to happen.
Right. It's at school.
This ain't supposed to happen here. So you think that I'm gonna just be okay?
Right.
I don't know.
It doesn't make. I think we're on the same.
I'm not a therapist.
We're on the same
I just
page.
don't. I'm just a victim of gun violence. Like I'm never gonna be okay.
Yeah.
I have to cope with it, especially how my situation happened. Like I'm never gonna be okay. Like I'm always gonna be. You close the door too hard, or I'm gonna die that way. You know what I mean? So you don't think that I should receive therapy? You don't think that I should be dealing? I should, and it's the same thing with any situation, not just with the kids. Like any situation.
Which brings up a good point. Like what does help you cope? Like because when were you shot? Like how many years ago?
It was right before I went to Fed, so probably about 12, 13 years ago.
Okay, so 12, 13 years is still like an everyday thing for you. Like what keeps you going every day? Like how do you make it past like the loud noises and the like all of that?
The work that I do. Like me feeling like I got a debt to pay back to society that keeps me passionate, that keeps me going forward, keep me fighting. But so I deal with my issues 24/7, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. So, my situation was an incident happened at one spot. I ended up getting into a little shootout. I ended up running out of bullets. So, we left that spot. It was a whole bunch of commotion. I don't want to get too in deep depth, but it was a whole bunch of commotion, whole bunch of stuff going on, and I end up getting out of there, going out to another spot, and I get out the car, walked over to my sister's car, telling my sister about what had happened. Some guys just tried to rob me, and I got away with whatever happened. And she was looking across the street, and she was like, my little brother named Tater Man. She like, that Tater Man over there fighting. And I stand up and look across because he was way like a distance away from me. And I remember what he had on. So that's Tater Man, my baby brother. Yeah. So I ended up running across the parking lot through people, traffic, everything, trying to get over where my brother was at. But as I'm going over there, I see, dude kind of step away from my brother. Somebody hand him a gun. Now, me being in those situations, then I could tell who gonna shoot and who not gonna shoot. Like I could tell.
Yeah.
And I could tell the way he was moving that he was gonna shoot my brother. So I ran in front of the gun. I ended up getting hit in his hand first. And I ended up tussling with the dude or whatever. Now, mind you, he already done shot. Now, in my head, I'm not thinking that my brother done got shot because it happened so fast. I'm thinking it just me done got hit.
Yeah.
So I get to wrestling with dude, and he still, y'all better get him, I'm gonna kill him. Woo. He ended up shooting, knocking these fingers off or whatever. But, and I thank God did this by design because I'm hard-headed. Like, I'm real hard-headed. I ain't gonna tell you, like, I'm one of those people that you have to go all with the distance with. You can't play with me. You got to go the distance. But my brother ended up dying. And, like, that's something I never forgive myself for. And it ain't the fact that he died out there. It's just the fact that I know he followed me into the streets. Like, I was, you asked me earlier who I looked up to. I was who he looked up to. You know what I mean? Like, whatever I did, if I go back into my pictures, into my videos, like, my brother always was, like, right here. You know what I mean? So, anytime I pick up a cup, I had to teach I went to Fed, like, not long after this happened. So, I couldn't write. I literally taught myself how to write while I was in prison. I taught myself how to type, all that good stuff. And my fingers were stuck because I wouldn't go to I wouldn't do therapy. So my hand was stuck. So I actually the couple times that I did go to therapy, when I learned when I went to therapy, I did it while I was in prison. So I ended up getting able to get my fingers to move around. So with me, it's a constant reminder, like, God saved me, took my brother, but it's hard for me to say. I say he know exactly what he was doing, because if my brother wouldn't have been sent right here, like, he would have been, Tay would have, Tay would have probably made CNN. Yeah, he would have. Yeah, he would have went the distance. So God did what he did by design, but I get a constant reminder. It ain't a day go by if I pick up an ink pen, if I got to sign my name, I got to open the door. Because I have to reposition everything. Like, it's I just can't grab much of nothing and just do what I need to do with it. So I got to reposition it, whatever I'm doing. So that was life changing for me, and it was it was something that I know that God did by design. Because if I'd have got shot anywhere else, it wouldn't have had that type of impact, that type of meaning for me. So I probably would have been dibbling, dabbing still, probably still trying to hustle. I probably been still kicking it with the homie. I probably still been doing all the stuff that led up to me getting shot. But it's a constant reminder of my brother dead, and I'm still here. So what other reason he need me to be here for? Because I done everything in the street but that. I done everything. I done became a gang leader. I was one of the big drug dealers. I did all this, everything that you're supposed to do in the streets. I done it. So what else it wasn't there for me to do besides that? So the only reason why he could have left me here for me to do the work that I do. And I promise you, you have to come down. You have to see it for yourself.
Yeah.
They say you can't save them. They always, you can't save all of them. I don't miss. Yeah. Only way I don't miss is if I don't have enough time to get them. Like right now, like I just had a last group of mentors. Now they kind of like filtered out. Now I got a new group, but it's the same love from all of them. But like I don't have the resources. I don't have the team to be able to cater to my other resources. So it's like I'm always thinking about my partner Kizayan. I'm always thinking about what he go through and what he been through, and where I was trying to get him to go, but he ain't in the program no more that I'm with. So I'm with another program, but I know he still needs what I got to offer. My little homeboy Malik, like he still call me to this day. Like he no longer in the program, but he gonna call me like, Mr. Trav, what's up? Or he gonna text me, Mr. Trav, what you know? Like, and it's just like, man, that's why I know selling cars ain't it. Like I got to go ahead and push forward on what I need to do to be able to get the resources so I can be able to build a team and contribute to what God left me here to do. And that's it. And I get that constant reminder every day. Like you would have to know me to know like why God did me like that, because boy, I was professional crash dummy. Yeah, professional crash dummy. Now I'm where I'm at now.
Yeah. What do you think Tay would say about like the man that you are today?
He would be so proud.
Yeah.
Because he was always happy about the stuff that I do. Like when I gave back to the community or anything that I did, he was always like my biggest cheerleader. Like he was my dog. Like whatever I did on that end, he was proud of me for it. So I know he looking down like, okay, bro. Because this is what we did. Like it be sounding crazy to the outside world. Like, oh, you was a gang leader, but you was giving away shoes and book bags and Christmas toys and feeding neighborhood on Thanksgiving. Hey man, y'all looking at the game violent. This is what gangs supposed to do. I'm not doing that to spectacular. This is where we was created to do. We weren't created to kill each other. You know what I mean? So I'm not doing that spectacular, but me and my brother, like, and my people that I had around us, that's what we contributed the most to. We did a lot for the community. Like we had one of those organizational neighborhood where, hey, you was a deadbeat dad, you got dealt with me and you got beat. Like you got violated. If your baby mama tell me that she called you and said she needs some pampers or whatever, or, you gonna, and if we don't dip you or we don't put hands on you, I would do a mental DP. I would say you can't smoke cigarette for 31 days. You know what I mean? So every time y'all see us smoke cigarette, tag behind up and take the cigarette, because you can't be around me telling me that you rock with me, but you ain't a daddy to your kid. So we had one of those situations. So me and my brother, so I know he happy and he proud of me about what I'm doing, because this is what we stood for.
That's what you stood for. Yeah. So Travis, like I definitely appreciate you opening up and being vulnerable and even just sharing like parts of your story. Because, we just met like 2 weeks ago. So I appreciate that. And then like as we're starting to close out, I'm gonna let you ask me, you can ask me one question. Okay. You can't ask like, how did I get in this work? I think at least a few people have already like asked that. But what question do you have?
What's your goal for this work?
What's my goal for this work? I think my goal is to see more people like healed, especially Black people, right? I think because I talk to so many families that are dealing with like trauma, the kids, the parents, the grandparents, like it's like I wish that they knew sometimes like what I could see in them, like how much gifts they have, like their talents, their character. And when I talk to them, I try to make sure I point that out, because what I've realized is sometimes, like, especially our young Black boys, they don't hear that. They don't hear how great they are. They don't hear how smart they are. They don't hear, like, how much they have to give the world. And so they just don't know. So definitely probably one of my main goals is like I want to see people healed.
That was a great answer, because I was just about to ask you what healed looked like for you, and you told me before I keep asking.
Yeah.
Being able to see who they could become.
Yes. I'm like, no one else. Anytime I see a young person, I'm like, there's no one else on this whole entire planet like you. And whatever you have in you, like, people need to see it. You know what I mean? Like you have gifts. Like, I'm trying to understand, like you say you want to write a book. Like, I want to read what you want to write. And I think it's really important that people get to experience their full self. Like, they get to experience like who they are, who they were made to be.
That's big, because so I would ask my, people that taught me, that I mentor, I would ask them what you wanted to be before the world got into your head and told you that you couldn't be. And I got this one, I just heard him the other day say he didn't want to do it no more, and it was just like, oh, you gonna do it, or you better get from around me. He want to be a firefighter.
Yeah.
And the class laughed when he said, because I always ask, but I always ask. And when he told me he wanted to be a firefighter, and the class laughed, I paused and I broke it down that he really probably on the one gave the most serious and honest answer.
Yeah.
And I reached out to some firefighters that came and spoke, and I got one of my buddies there that's gonna mentor him. He live up here, but he works in Albany with the fire department. But if I got anything to do with it, he gonna become a firefighter.
Yeah. And we need people to meet them at that moment. Because that moment happens all the time. But unless you have someone to connect with who can tell you, like, no, actually, like, that's a great idea. Like, you want to be a firefighter? Like, let's go up to the station. Like, let's.
Cause what you buy little boys when they on fire trucks. Like, I probably had a fire truck. At one point, I might have wanted to be a firefighter. Yeah. Like, that let me know that he was willing to get back to where he was before the world got in. Told him he had to gang bang and have a gun. Right. And that let me know that he can get back to that.
Right, which is why you're gonna get that college degree. Right.
So,
like you just spoke it to yourself. So I just added that. Yeah. So tell me about your book, and then let people know like where they can follow you and all of that.
You say you like the picture. I hate the picture. Tell you
it's
that,
a great picture.
I tell you,
it looks very serious.
It's like a mug shot.
I don't think so. It looks like a very serious, like you got something to say.
I was serious. So I titled it, it's product of my environment, right? For a trick. Because I knew most people would grab it and think that, oh, this fit be a book full of excuses of why I decided to sell drugs and gang bang and go
like
to
that
prison.
Reverse psychology.
Yeah, because normally you hear people say, oh, I'm a product of my environment. Oh, well, why you sell drugs? I'm a product of my environment. Oh, time out, everybody in the neighborhood and sell drugs.
Yeah.
You had some mama went to work, somebody went to work somewhere. So you everybody didn't sell drugs. Everybody didn't gang bang. So that leads to the subtitle, Prosperity or Destruction. Your choice, any and everybody's consequences.
That's good.
So you doing the work that you're doing, you choosing to be a part of prosperity. Because you can easily say, oh, well, I can go use, my degrees to go do something else that's less stressful. Is that less?
Yes.
Yeah, I
feel seen right now.
Yeah, I can just go over here and just get the money. I don't even have to see y'all. I don't even have to come and be around the violence or none of that. I can just
Which happens often. We have
90%.
a whole bunch of educated people who are just sitting back like, I'm not involved.
Ain't got nothing to do with me.
Right.
But they start to see now that crime don't have boundaries. But anyway.
Right.
So people choose destruction often. But they forget that the consequences of that destruction is in and everybody's. Meaning that, okay, I was in the gang. They put my whole family in the gang. Because my mama's house would get shot up, the police would follow my sisters, and my sister, I had two brothers to go to jail, go to prison for that weren't even in the gang. Like, my brother died. It's a whole bunch of consequences that came behind me choosing to be a part of destruction. And going to prison. So it's that chunk of time that I never can get back. My kids can never get back. So that choice, it's not just your consequences.
It's any and everybody.
It's any and everybody's. Yeah. So even a little deeper, dive a little deep into it, the person that I was selling was drugs to. It's consequences behind that too, because I was giving poison to that person that obviously we're going to poison their family, anybody that's connected to them. I don't know how they act when they get high. I don't know how they act when they can't get high. I don't know. I just know to sell the drugs. So it goes on and on and on. And it's the same thing with prosperity. So I remember, I won't say his name, but I remember I had a cellmate. He was a big real estate investment out of I say his name Dennis Bowles. Mm-hmm. He was out of Tennessee. He ended up getting locked up for real estate fraud. And he was like, he said, I don't know how I would end up being some cool white people. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But he was just like, my perception of black people was wrong. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, man, what you talking about? He was like, I never been around black people, so I just thought when I seen black people, I seen what I seen on TV. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's like, man, with being around you, like, y'all really ain't no bad people, but he came from money. Like his granddaddy had money, so he never really had to be around, black people or whatever the case may be, because he had that level of money. And he was just like, he started teaching me stock market. Mm-hmm. And he taught me it from front to back. And I remember like telling him like, I said, so prior to meeting me, you were contributing to the destruction because you were just stereotyping black people out as a whole, and you don't know how something that you knew could have probably helped some black people, whatever the case may be. And I was just like, now you're contributing to prosperity because you teaching me something that I can go teach. He was making like $5 million a year doing day trading. And I was just like, you teaching me something that I can go back and I could take to my neighborhood and take to my kids, and they could take to their people and take to their kids, and this may keep somebody from committing some type of crime. So, and I actually wrote about that story a little bit in the book, but you don't have to, when you choose prosperity, destruction could be just ignoring the problem.
Yeah, and not doing it. Just looking at it.
Just looking at it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you when you look at being a product of your environment, it's just not negativity. You have a choice. You could choose to be a part of prosperity, and you could choose to be a part of destruction. Me now, I'm finally choosing to be a part of the prosperity. Yeah. I'm no longer contributing to the destruction of my community, of my family, of my people, whatever, anybody that's connected to me. I'm contributing to a prosperity, and I'm seeing the consequences of it. Yeah. I'm seeing, well, I was at the car lot the day before I came up here, and two young men, they wanted to buy a car. And they came up, and one of them had the book bag. I was just looking at them. To be honest, I was sitting inside the shop like, who this little boy up there coming here with the book bag? Yeah. But I walked him out the door, man, how you doing, Trav? He like, man, Mr. Trav. And I'm like, man, I wonder when I've been around him. No, then the other one got out. He came, young black man came, shook my hand. What's up, Mr. Trav? Such, and I'm like, man, I'm saying in my head, why I don't talk to them yet? I don't even remember when we don't cross paths it. So I'm seeing the
fruit.
And it go back to what I said about I didn't force them to call me Mr. Trav.
Right. It's the respect. And it's also it's the fruit of who you are, like who you evolved to.
That's it.
Right?
That's it. So I'm seeing the seeds of my prosperity. I'm seeing when I walk into Monroe, a school that they say in my town was the baddest school. I'm seeing when I walk into how the kids run to me. Hey, Miss Trav, Miss Trav, can you help me do this, Miss Trav? I got a pair of shoes in one of the coach's office for one of the students. I got to go out there this week and make sure he get them. But they come to me now. It's like, hey, Miss Trav, and I'm like, what you been doing in school? How you been? I'm going to ask these people now. Right. Now, you need to tell me the truth, you know what I mean? Like, I ain't did that, but he was doing it, and she had did. So I'm seeing this, the seeds of my prosperity. Yeah. And it's something that I'm just going to continue to push and grow on.
That's dope. Well, I hope one of these books is for me so I could purchase it from you.
So
and where can people find it?
I'm on all social media platforms as I am Travis Luke. And my book, my what is called Shopify store. Okay. It's finallyconscious.world. Okay. Finally Conscious spelled CONSCIOUS. Okay. .world. Okay. And if you can't find it on there, like I don't got 1 million followers, y'all could just reach out to me on social media. I am Travis Luke, and I'll make sure that you get one.
All right. Well, thank you for answering all of my questions. I think this was a really good conversation.
Yeah, I thank you for having me on too, because like I said, this is probably the most comfortable one I've done this far.
Yeah.
So I kind of know now how I need to carry these situations.
These conversations.
Yeah, I'm definitely grateful for it.
For sure.
Definitely grateful. I love it.
Yeah.
Hopefully have me back in the future.
Yes, absolutely. Right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. This is the Brave Space podcast. We meet, we process, we heal in community.